Hi. Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit about how to deal with some personnel challenges while you are in the workspace. And we know working with young children, children of any age, it is a challenging environment and it is going to lend some stress and a little bit of anxiety. And I kind of want to just address some questions and situations that have come up with myself and having to facilitate support for teachers. And I think it's just not something that's talked about a lot because, there's always controversy and it's never comfortable, of course, but it's real life and we're human and we all have different personalities and characteristics and we have different experiences, different values. And so that's going to bring different situations. And I just want to say one of my biggest roles and values in this field is to support each other. It takes a village to raise a child, and it also takes a village to run a classroom. So, in my experience, as a teacher and as an administrator, you really need a facilitator. And I know that there are different styles across the board with different directors and programs. But as teachers, you are already, whether you're an aide or you prepare all the meals, or you're in a classroom as a co-teacher or a lead teacher, whatever your role is, as an employee and a part of a bigger picture, you really need a facilitator. I know that I've had a couple of schools that I've worked with that really want their personnel to work it out on their own as much as possible. And I think that is it's good to have a communication on a daily basis, not to let things fester and to get away from you. But at the same time, there really needs to be structure to a conversation that is addressing a challenge or an emotional problem between two staff, because we're human and it's really hard to take a step back from our emotions. So we're going to talk about a couple things on how you can yourself deal with that and how you can ask your admin to facilitate. I don't think, in my experience, it has never really been super positive or dissolved a situation when two employees or more than one work it out on their own. That almost never happens because you do need a facilitator. You need somebody who kind of see the whole picture. That's really not your role as a teacher, is to problem solve personnel issues as well. Typically, when a teacher is training, going to school, in the classroom learning, their focus is on curriculum and the kids and behavior management, and it should be. And this is an area where typically there's not a lot of training for teachers. And so that's the role of the admin, HR department, whatever department of the admin that you have. That's the department you should be utilizing for this. So as a teacher, let's just say, you have something come up, maybe supplies aren't getting put away and you've said things to a teacher and maybe it's just a habit that's reoccurring and you're really frustrated and you don't know how to address it. I definitely think that, that communication is going to come in where maybe you've tried to say something, I don't want to offend you, but I really need you to help me do X, Y, Z. Those are things that are okay to say. I think as women and also males, and just adults in general, we forget that you can be respectful and still be assertive and sharing what you need as a team player. And I know that we all have different experiences and different relationships, and sometimes we just don't have the words and the tone to articulate that. And that's where your admin is going to support you, because they're going to lay a foundation of a safe space. Maybe that's in the kitchen or the director's office, and we're going to talk about this together as adults. When things are not addressed, they fester, and it can be one smallest little thing, and then somebody has a bad day because they're really, really using all of their energy on the classroom behavior issues maybe that they're having, or something's going on at home and you are just taxed, and it's gonna start a fire, and that is going to accumulate, and it's gonna really hinder the relationships that you have at work. It's gonna hinder the relationships that you're trying to build with the kids. It changes your whole focal point in what you're doing and all of the hundreds of tasks that you have as a teacher. And so I really want to drive home. So one thing that I was taught as just a parent, I've had a couple of really great coaches and therapists that I've worked with within our family setting. And I'm not kidding you, this has been like super key. And that is to have 24 to 48 hour rule before you say anything. Because sometimes we get so emotional that we're just like, I have to talk about this right now. I need them to know what I feel and what's going on. And that's good. It does need to be addressed, but sometimes we need to step away from our emotions. We need to stick to the facts. We can express our emotions, but sometimes we can't do that when we're in that emotional state. So the 24, 48 hour rule is that you take your situation, you write it down, put it in a binder, a journal, a box, whatever, set it aside and wait 24 hours. Whether you bring it up to your co-teacher, the personnel that you're having a challenge with, your director, just cap it for that amount of time. You can think about it, do some calming techniques. Maybe you're a meditator. I know teachers giggle at me, but Go Noodles are out there, and they're not just for kids. They're a really great way for you to facilitate calming down with your kids to practice. There are a jillion of different things that you can do to process through the information. If you need a couple of tips and tools, email me and I will be happy to give you a list. This is a time where we want to reflect. What's really upsetting me? Is it really the situation? Is the situation the situation that needs to be addressed? Or are there about 5 other things that are happening maybe with this personnel or this environment, and this is just the straw that broke the camel's back? So this is the time for you to really facilitate, and maybe at the end of that 24 hours or 48 hours, it's really not that serious anymore. Maybe there's something else that you want to focus at, and maybe this time brings you to really identify what you do want to address. Because sometimes as a parent, as a team personnel, we get really upset about things because things have been building. And then when we say things in an emotional state, we don't really get to articulate what the real problem is. And we step back and go, oh man, that's not even what I wanted to say. I wanted to explain this other situation or what really frustrated me. So this is a great opportunity to do that, to look and to write your notes, go through your facts. How am I going to say this to this person? Maybe you're really conscientious about not offending someone. Maybe you are not conscientious and you should tailor back your approach a little bit. So that's the biggest tip that I can give you. And I'm not kidding you. Every single time I have to address a teacher, a parent, maybe my child's parent, across the board, this really gives me clarity and perspective to really sit down and have a respectful conversation, setting boundaries, and being able to move on with that personnel relationship. So, if you have any questions, also you can reach out to me, give me a scenario. We can kind of mull it out together. Collaboration is huge. Remember, as humans, we tend to bond over drama. And sometimes when you mull it over with maybe a coworker that you're really close with, that can kind of fuel the fire. Just keep that in perspective. It's good to have multiple perspectives. Maybe there's somebody in your household that you can talk to. They can kind of give you some enlightenment and kind of just help you through that collaborative process of where am I going to focus my conversation. So I hope those tips really help you. I know this can be a really challenging and stressful environment at times. You're doing a great job. Process and play, and have a great day.